Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of the CXO show. Very exciting day for me. Every day that I shoot the CXO show with one of my guests, it's a day and time of the day that makes me very, very happy. And that's why I have such a big smile on my face. The CXO show is, of course, a show that features some of India's most successful professionals. We are supposed to feature a bunch of successful professionals across different domains, but currently we keep doing HR and L&D folk. Because like I mentioned at the start of every episode, these are the people that actually have great insights on careers. Which people do well within companies, which people don't do well, what are the skills of the future, what are the skills that are required right now. These people have a very good view on it. So we keep calling these people on the show, and I tend to have amazing conversations with people from this background. My name is Swapnil Kamat, and today we have with us Keshav Karunakar. Keshav, am I pronouncing your second name right?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you happy to be on this show with me?
Yes.
I force my guests to say that they're happy at the start of the show. Whether they are. Yes. Thank you very much for doing this. Before we get started, I'm going to do a quick introduction, a slightly formal sounding introduction of Keshav, and then we're going to get to the business end of the conversation. So Keshav is the head of learning and development at KPIT, an Indian multinational in the embedded software and product engineering services space. Keshav is a distinguished professional who seamlessly combines his passion for technology with a keen understanding of business dynamics. With an impressive educational background that includes an executive general management program from IIM Bangalore and an MCA in computer science from IGNOU, Keshav brings a unique blend of strategic acumen, technical expertise to the realm of learning and development. Keshav's professional journey has seen him at organizations such as Cellstrom Technologies, MUZ, Aricent, and the co-founder of PathPartner. His belief in achieving the impossible by leveraging the strength of his team and resources reflects his commitment to excellence and innovation. Colleagues describe Keshav as a committed, passionate, and inspiring leader. His approachability and willingness to go the extra mile to help others is commendable. With a solid foundation in technical knowledge, analytical skills, and remarkable patience, Keshav stands out as a leader who not only excels in his domain, but also elevates those around him. Welcome to the show, Keshav. I hope you liked your introduction.
Thank you. And we liked it, and you have done quite a research on this.
Thank you. All our guests have that one thing in common. They say the introduction that your team is doing is a very good introduction. We feel good about listening to ourselves because we rarely listen to our own introductions, right?
Somebody has digged the social media and LinkedIn really well to find.
Yes.
Yeah, excellent.
They've definitely done that. So Keshav, this is the first question that we ask our guests, right? Because it gives the listener a little bit of a perspective on your journey. So tell us your journey from possibly your last, formal educational qualification to where you are right now, right? That particular career journey that you've had. And we don't want it, of course, to be a very long answer because we have so many other questions to ask you in these 55 minutes that we have, but just a succinct kind of form of your journey from there to now.
So, Swapnil, I come from Bihar. Okay. And when I was born as a malnutrition child.
Oh,
okay. So my mother says that in my body, only brain or head and stomach was visible. Everything was very thin.
Okay.
So from that journey till today, I'm utilizing my brain because that is what God has given to me.
Got it.
So I come from Bihar. My father was teacher. Again, my English is not that strong because I started very late English. In our time, English used to be taught from class 6, just to give it, but now manageable. So English is not a barrier, neither a edge. So from there, I studied in residential school called Navodaya Vidyalaya. I'll be like first 3 batches of Navodaya. Navodaya is a residential school. My father was a teacher there. So that school has given a very good perspective of leadership because we were the senior most batch in the school, first batch of the school. Hence, we have to take care of all the juniors. 400, 500 people. From day one, you are knowing, working with the students and right. So it gives you perspective about handling people. And that's what I say. Secondly, my father value system was very strong. He was one of the profound teachers in that school. In terms of, he got a president award for his contribution in the school. Though it is residential school and we were staying together, he never asked me what you are studying, but he used to go and ask his students that what they are studying and what they are doing at 4 o'clock morning also. So his value was that if I am taking care of someone else's child, someone will take care of my child. Okay, that was his value system. And with this value system, a strong ethic background, he didn't do anything to make money. He was a teacher and he respected that. He said that I am not born to earn money. Somebody else will earn money. And coming from a background like this, I never thought I'll become entrepreneur. But one thing in college also, I used to tell in BHU that I will become entrepreneur. That was my vision. So 24 years in the industry, PathPartner as a co-founder, but being entrepreneur in terms of not just investment and operating like entrepreneur, I have been doing from the year 2003. So before PathPartner, there was a company called Immust, and we were not the investor, founder of that one, but complete Windows Mobile business unit, making the product, selling it to market, grabbing the market share, all such things was responsibility on our head, and we executed it. So very early age investor, first generation entrepreneur, passionate about work to do. When we started PathPartner, I was handling HR because we didn't have HR, and engineering, as an engineering head and HR. So when I used to ask people to come for an interview, I used to send mail as a HR alias. When they used to come, I used to take them technical interview and ask them to have tea, coffee, break. And after that, I go as a HR and take interview. So in my own company, I have played role of HR, sales, marketing, engineering, all those things. So that is the diversified experience. But overall, if you ask me, I'm passionate about technology. I'm a coder. I code today also. And then passionate about people and making talent. In 24 years, I'm proud to make talents which are working today at the post of director in NVIDIA, Qualcomm, from freshers to that journey, to Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, you name the company from all this global, and talent which has been groomed by me as a fresher, they're working today there. So that is what my journey is all about.
How did you, what got you into learning and development and in turn KPIT? I find that very, very interesting. And of course, Keshav, the one thing that is clear just in the way you articulate is how passionate you are about so many things. And that's a real pleasure to talk to somebody that is. I think you're very passionate about all things technical. You're very passionate about people, which is quite a unique combination. And I think you've cut your teeth in entrepreneurship. So you're I would say a natural problem solver in some way. But how did KPIT happen? And then how did this role of learning and development happen?
Yeah, so I'll tell you this. So I told you that passionate about the people and talent creation, right?
Yeah.
This is what as a founder you have to do in the company. So how did L&D happen? In PathPartner, I was heading the full engineering, right? All the engineering, we had a matrix organization, horizontal and vertical. And from day one, I was involved in hiring the freshers, grooming them, talent creation is what bulk of the responsibility that is there. My father is a teacher. 2001 happened. My mother, my company had fired 45 people, sales stream that time. And my mother asked that, what will you do if you are fired? I said that I'm son of a teacher. I can teach, at least that is the skill that I have. Okay. So you don't need to worry. I will be a teacher somewhere to do that. So I have been regularly taking talent grooming from C++, operating system, Agile, Scrum, anything that is new. If nobody is willing to learn, I will learn and give. Okay, so learning as such is passionate about, and I'm a self-learner. Okay, I have no degree to sell that I have learned everything that I have learned today on the self-learning, and so much of passionate about learning. I can tell you that when I did IMB course, I learned about technical analysis on the stock market. Okay, and you'll be surprised to know that I have developed algorithms which runs in the market on doing this. I have read 400 books on technical analysis. Wow. I have not done any workshop, not learned for anyone. It is a self-learning, reading from books, writing codes, and then putting the algorithm. So
Wow.
that is what I achieved apart from my the job profile. And this is a son of 2 years just grinding every week another thing. So PathPartner got acquired by KPIT. In 2021, we had a successful exit. This was our second exit, and then we have another exit for other subsidiary. So when we got exit, I was talking to Kishore Patil, CEO of KPIT, and he's passionate about people. He's passionate about creating talent, and my passion about creating talent got the sync, right? He realized that I'm passionate about this. L&D division in KPIT was not doing that great that time, and the reason being the talent market was completely different. So he asked me, can you do something? You have done for PathPartner, can you do something for this? And I'm VP engineering PathPartner. I took a bold step of asking KPIT management that give me your 25 talents. I will take class. I will find out what is the real problem on the ground. I did a pilot batch of 25 people training. And from there, today we have 500 freshers getting trained in the same model. Rigorous model that is there. And we are going to get another 450 in January. So a 25 batch pilot batch has gone to 1,000 people scale within 6 months with the team. Wow. And that is where I ended taking care of L&D. So there's a problem because once, you are techie is fine. Once you go to the MBA school, you realize that problem is a problem. It doesn't matter which domain it's coming from, right? And if you're able to solve the problem, you will be able to contribute it. And KPIT is an excellent organization, okay? Very few organizations have learning as a culture, right? Culture of excellence. Second, having IDP where people are going to have 10% of weightage in their career to the development, okay? So, and to just give you perspective, when I took it up, I was blessed and really empowered by Kishore, where he gave almost 4x budget of whatever it was there and said that you go back and transform my talent journey. And this is what I am into. I have promised him that I will give you the best talent in the industry because I have done this for 24 years. I know what it takes to create the talent. So, and that's how I end up heading the L&D currently. We have named the department as a KPIT Academy. And a lot of things we are doing, a lot of things that we are doing. Team is super excited. Within 6 months, we are able to transform things, bring people belief. Business is believing that we can give talent, trained people within time. Yeah.
So inspiring, Keshav. I must say it's absolutely inspiring. And I have so many different comments and things to make here, right? And so many questions to ask as well, right? So first of all, I think it's very inspiring because not many people look at their work from the lens of problem solving and from the lens of contribution, right? They look at it more in terms of status in some way, right? That I was the co-founder, I was doing the engineering bit. Now, is this a step down for me to be in charge of learning and development and teaching 25 people, right? So I often think that the minute you start looking at stuff from the lens of status versus the lens of problem solving and contribution, that's not the right way to operate, right? And the people that look at stuff from the lens of course, problem solving and contribution, they create roles for themselves and they create impact in a way where status driven people just don't, right? And I think yours is a true testament to that, to saying, hey, I'm passionate about people development. The other founder is passionate about people development. And in the knowledge economy that all of us are in and that KPIT is in, the quality and competence of your talent is the quality of your company in some way, right? So taking that responsibility and really creating magic out of that, I think that's very, very inspiring in itself. So well done. I think this is a great example of how people should operate, right? Keshav, I also believe that I think in an Indian context, right, and in the context of nation building, while of course your educational institutes have a role to play, I keep feeling that corporate India, through their learning and development and through the internal academies that they form, have a huge role to play in terms of talent development. And I know we haven't touched upon that, but I'm sure you feel, and KPIT feels very passionately about that as well, because some of that talent will be at KPIT and some of that talent will be your alumni and go out. But in the end, I think you contributed in some way to a person's life and in turn the nation building in some way, right? So again, I seriously from the bottom of my heart like to congratulate your organization and you for taking this step, which is not very normal step to take, right? So well done.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'll tell you a status. In IT industry, I cut jokes, and I tell people that people who can write code, they become CTO. People who cannot write, they go in testing. People who cannot do both, they go in learning and development. That is the unfortunate part. I say that, boss, I am a coder, and organization has a talent as a problem today. KPIT is the fastest growing company. You can go back and look into stock market. It's a buzzword, right? We have automotive. We have a lot of demand. All those things are there. So company doesn't have a problem in getting business. Company doesn't have problem getting execution. Company has a problem in the talent which can handle it. And we want to grow. So if this is the problem, and after going to IMB, if you are not thinking about the problem to solve, business is solved, and you are sticking to this thing, that you are not doing justice to the study that you have done. I said, well, and there is no status in this.
Absolutely.
And you know what, how to make it more, sexy or appealing. When I took it, I gave team that let's have mission be great. I told them, because the organization have written us down, saying that L&D is not going to contribute, not doing it. We have nothing to lose. From here, we are going to achieve the greatness. And each team member took it seriously. We made the batch name was given as a mission be great. But today, everybody's feeling that, yes, we can contribute and become great here. So that is the purpose bringing in of our chapter. Second thing I did, I started interacting with the colleges, and realized that a lot of talent gap is there. So I told that everybody in industries tells you that Indian IT engineers are not employable. Right? I will tell you that I'm committed to make 2 lakh engineers employable. You tell me what you want from me, and I'm going to contribute to you. Whatever talent making I have in my 24-year career, I'm going to help you out. And I'm working with some of the organization in helping them out. One of them is in Mumbai. They have the BTech CSE course. I have sat with them designing the course. Another universities, I work with the university. So this is how I have taken inspiration. From the position where nobody wants to come and take the position, right? It is a L&D position. Nobody wants in IT company to take it. It is a death of your career.
No, of course. And given your family's background in teaching, learning, education, I think you're carrying forward that particular mantle in a formidable way. So I'm really happy to hear this story, because more often than not, like I said, right, I think our ego gets in the way, and we don't often do stuff that we know probably will have the most impact on person, company, country in some way, right? Okay, I have some questions that I typically don't ask my guests, but I'm going to ask you, right? Can you make a person a passionate person like you, or is that something which is inbuilt? And don't give me an answer that me or the audience would like to hear, but tell me just honestly what your take is. Can passion be, are people born with it, or
look, see,
can they develop it, or what?
Passion, see, I'll tell you, passion cannot be made. Okay? Because passion is inherent. Now, my theory is passionate can be not born, but it has to have purpose. See, Eklavya was passionate to learn. Right? I always tell that the first successful student of e-learning in India was Eklavya, who can see the birds of far off and then learn. Right? That is the first success. Now, I always ask people that I can get you e-learning, but do you have fire in belly like Eklavya? Right? If you don't have, then you will not be able to get it. And the passion comes from that drive. What is that? I am going to get it. If you are not having a mission, if you are not having a vision, you will not get passionate. Okay, hard work is different. Passionate is like coding as a passion. I'm telling you, when I started coding in 1996, I used to code for 8 hours, 10 hours in the institute every day. I've done 36-hour coding per stretch.
But what was your purpose then, right? So you were passionate about doing it, but what was your purpose?
My purpose, like, see, I went to BHU to become an IAS officer. Okay. When I started coding, I realized that this is most interesting thing that I have got in my life. Right? You sit down, think, and solve the problem. You write the code and you see the output. And purpose to me was that I was born with only brain. God has given this much. Right? And my father is a teacher. I have to get a pride to him. So I'm going to achieve something in my life which is nobody has done it. right? That is the purpose driven. And today also I have a purpose to define, right? I told you, L&D 2 lakh students. Nobody has done it. Everybody creeps about it. I define a purpose of myself.
Correct.
So that milestone will keep pushing me. I get it.
Correct.
Right?
So interesting. I think you've given such a practical thing for people. So I think passion comes from within, but the way to ignite the passion in some way is to have a purpose or a mission. And the minute that purpose and mission is there, that ignites your passion. And I think for anybody to take back, there are two parts. Earlier, probably your passion was because you just wanted to do something of consequence, coming from the background that you did. So that drove your passion towards coding and being able to do something. Today, now that you've got to a certain stage in your career, probably your purpose, your mission is contribution, right? And ensuring that you can contribute more to others. Now that makes you passionate. I think that's very, very interesting. Do you think that, Keshav, that is connected to learning too, because you seem to be a obsessed learner, right? I would put myself also semi in that category, right? I learn for the joy of learning, whether or not I can apply something is secondary, but I get a great joy from learning. Do you think that's something which is natural, or do you think that is again driven by purpose?
So, see, learning, I always tell that people use carrot and stick and carrot approach. Okay. I always tell that stick has never worked for learning. Okay. When I was a kid, teachers were having stick in their hand to teach. That was a purpose.
Yeah.
If stick was important, then every student of my class would have been where I am today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But nobody came. Coming from government school, nobody came.
Yeah.
So stick never works. I always tell people that note it down that the stick is not going to work. Now, carrot also will not work. Okay. What works is that first thing for learning is that self-realizing that I don't know. Okay. The moment you realize that this I don't know is the first step. If you don't realize, you don't know. If you realize this, the second realization that I want to know. Okay. And if you want to know, after that learning will happen, nobody can stop it. But these two steps are missing, then you will not know. Right. I'll give you an example. When I started writing algorithm, right, I developed algorithm for investing. I was having a complete thought process like Warren Buffett told that future and options are mass destruction, wealth mass destruction, and don't touch it. People lose money, blah, blah, blah. But then when I got this, I don't know options. Okay. Everybody's talking a strangle. I don't know. And I want to know. Either I'll make money or not make money, right? And that is where I started learning. Now, learning has to come when I want to. I didn't learn for 8 years. I didn't learn because I didn't want to know. So first and foremost, I tell everyone, question yourself that do you know or not know? 60% people don't know that they don't know. Okay. So once you don't know, you question yourself, do you want to know? And if you want to know, trust me, nobody can stop you as of today, 2023. If anybody says that I don't have resource to learn, you are fooling.
Yep. I agree with you. Completely.
But this foundation has to be there. And nothing can motivate me. Like if you stick or carrot, whatever you show, nothing can motivate me. If I have to read the book, I have to find a reason to read the book.
Yeah. So it's very interesting, right? As a teacher myself on a lot of these subjects of soft skills and leadership, because I've done literally hundreds of workshops connected to these particular subject. I would spend the first at least couple of hours, right, of any workshop just discussing why that particular subject is important to their life. Yes. Right? And what will happen if they're not skilled in that particular subject in their life, right? I would only spend the first. And the minute you did that, at least when I did that for whatever 90 minutes to 120 minutes, the rest of the workshop was so smooth, and even people that were generally not interested in learning, right, got interested in learning, right? To make that particular argument to them first, right, कि भाई ये आपके life में फायदेमंद क्यों है, अगर यार ये नहीं हुआ तो मतलब क्या हो जाएगा, ये पहले समझो, right? Then I thought the process of learning was so much more easier, right? There's a very nice quote that says, "Wisdom is knowing how much you don't know." Right. So I think anybody that is wise has a realization of how much they don't know. And the other thing, Keshav, that I find interesting is the more you know about something, the more you realize how ignorant you are.
Yes.
Right. So,
Yeah.
any person that says, hey, I know a lot about this subject, right? That itself is kind of because the more you know, the more you realize the complexity of that issue, and therefore you realize how ignorant you are. But I think, yes, I agree with your carrot and stick. And I think most important thing to get across at all points of time is the why behind something. And if that is there, I think the rest of the thing is quite smooth, right?
Yes.
So I want you to again throw light on, you spoke about, it almost sounds like the Super 30, right? You heard about the Super 30, where you started with 25 people and now you're scaling that particular thing up. So what were the 2 or 3 things that you did differently in that program that you had for 25 people that really made it effective and really helped you churn out a better quality of talent at the end of it? What are those 2 or 3 things?
So we are talking about freshers.
Yeah.
Okay. I talk to business, what is your problem? Okay. So first problem they told that these guys' communication is poor. Okay. Then second problem, they don't know things. And third thing they told that they don't want to learn. Okay. Now, I have been involved with fresher hiring and training and all those things. So when I go to campus to talk, I always tell people that if you don't know things, I'm okay. But if you don't want to know things, then PathPartner is not a place. And this was a punchline that I used to say in the campus. Okay.
Correct.
Now I realize what is the problem with these guys. Okay. And you have to take step by step. Okay. So when I say that, what I will do, I'll have 15-minute interaction with all these students. Okay. I did a one-on-one interaction with them. They were very scared because the senior person is talking to them out of blue. They got it. And then I called them office. It was a virtual that was going on. Nobody was training. I called them to office, said that you are going to sit in the class. Okay. When I talked to them, I realized that they have come from tier 2, tier 3 cities, having a strong regional language influence, right? Because see, this generation, when politics of language happens, the people take it to the heart. I have to be good in my regional, and then they keep resisting the learning language. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So politician is doing really disservice to the nation by doing this.
Yeah.
You go back and tell us tier 2, tier 3 guys, and then they say that, yeah, I have to be strong. They communicate in their language, Hindi or Marathi or whatever. So I found out this is a problem. So what I did, for the communication, because I was the only trainer, I didn't take anyone help. Okay. I said, I am going to take the batch, I am going to see the journey, and then I am going to take the decision. So when I took it, KPIT has a culture of excellence. Okay. Where 7 behaviors are defined, like learn continuously, seek clarity, keep commitment, own failure, celebrate success, share knowledge. So these are really very good behaviors that anybody can imbibe and become excellence. Okay. This is one of the strongest things that I found it out when I saw the culture. Vision is very strong for KPIT. Culture is one thing. I said that all students have to write daily journal on this learning, these 7 behaviors. During my training, you are going to write the journal. What is that you learned today? What is the question that you asked to the trainer, right? What is the pushback that you did to yourself? What is the share knowledge that you did with the team member? They were supposed to write everyday journal. Okay. Now, once they're writing journal, they are taking the behavior in the distinct journal. They have to write after 8 o'clock, before 12 o'clock. Okay. So you can't go and publish anytime journal, so that you can reflect upon. Okay. Now what I introduce that you are going to present this journal in the class. When I walk in, first week, I ask everyone to present it. After that, I ask random people to do that. Now they started getting into that, we have to do. Physically, they have to present. Second thing I found it out, this is the communication part. These are the 2 things I got in the communication part, right? For the knowledge, I realized that these guys have just passed the topic. They have done course, they have passed it, but they have not learned it. Okay. Now, in this digital era, when people are going through learning through digital, I flip this. I said that you are going to read 2 books. In C, you are going to read the Swapnil book, and C, Cunningham Ritchie book, C++, these 2 books. These 2 books, everybody has to buy and bring in the class. You are not going to watch any video till you are not reading the books. Why I brought it? People say that you are going back. I said that, see, why I'm going back? Think about it. I am finding it out, this generation has very less concentration power. Their focus is only 2 minutes, 3 minutes, right? After that, they want some reel, they want to YouTube, they want to shorts, they want to have TikTok. I have to break that cycle. I have to make them to sit and study for an hour together. The moment I allow them a laptop, they'll go to some site and then they start seeing something else. So to break this cycle, I told that only way that you are going to do with book. Okay. And on the books, I asked them that you have to solve all the problem statement. Then we started taking tests with the negative marking. They have not done negative marking test. The moment negative marking test came, their realization came that they are getting negative 10, negative 12 in the question. Okay. Then there's a unique concept that we have in PathPartner, we had it called coding marathon. So you are going to write code from morning to evening. One question is given to you, you solve that question, then you will go to the second question, then third question. And this you have to do without internet. Now, the moment internet is off, the students are jittery. They have been using Google, they have been using Stack Overflow to copy the code, but now here it's not there. Right? So the model that was brought in, and simple trick that I applied. I'm saying that I'm not a L&D professional, but trick that I applied. The batch was running. I had to go to Pune. I told them I'm going to 5 days for Pune trip. During this time, you guys are going to cover this book. Every problem statement you're going to solve this book. And in coding marathon, I will ask you question from this book. You know, everybody solved every question of the book. When I came, I asked question out of the book. And people solve it. I told them, see the difference. Why? Because you were knowing that I'm going to ask from the book, but I didn't ask you. But you have got to develop the skill. 140 people, 150 people, you solve it. So this is the model we brought in. Rigor and zero tolerance of the quality. If you fail, you are out. Zero tolerance of the quality.
Wow. I know we have 1 hour, Keshav, for this conversation, but I'm going to definitely do a part 2 with you because this conversation is so interesting. Okay. So many things I want to talk about, right? So number one, one of the things that I find extremely annoying, right, is that somehow we feel that you can take the rigor out of learning, right? This has become some kind of a trend, right? That you take the rigor out of learning. And I think any kind of learning and skill development of any kind will always need rigor. Right? The skill development could be learning how to play badminton or driving a car, right? Or coding or communication. It doesn't matter, right? When you're in a way literally bringing something into your body in some way, without rigor, that's not possible, right? But somehow what has happened is that there's been a lot of mollycoddling amongst the HR and learning and development community, where it feels like we're literally scared of the employees, or we're really scared of our colleagues in some way, because it's become very feedback driven, right? That agar 30 log hai, to ek koi banda bolega उसका फीडबैक और उसका फीडबैक फिर हम लेके इंप्लीमेंट करते हैं, क्योंकि हमें लगता है कि सबका फीडबैक इंप्लीमेंट करना है. नो, you're not supposed to implement everybody's feedback. You're supposed to assess feedback, then look at what is the objective that you want to try to achieve, and then see whether that feedback applies to the overall group, or is it just one individual person's preference, right? But I think for anybody that's listening from the learning and development or HR community, an important thing for you to do is put the rigor back in learning, right? Otherwise, you're doing a sham job on this process. And that's why sometimes, Keshav, I'm sure you'd agree that learning and development gets a bad name for this reason, right? In terms of doing it. And that's because we're busy removing the rigor and making it very easy and trying to, in a way, cuddle the participants, right? I see that happening in a lot of schools as well today, right? The more expensive the school, the lesser the rigor in some way, which is not doing any service to them as well, right? So that's number one. I think fantastic job. I congratulate you, Keshav, for that. I think it's much required, and therefore you will end up creating better talent, right? The second thing that I take away, Keshav, from you is, sometimes you need to go against the grain in some way, right? You need to use methods that may seem not conventional, but they actually work. Because when you said, I gave them a book, I put the internet off, right? And that is what led to better results. I couldn't agree with you more, because just because something is an old way of doing stuff doesn't mean that it's the wrong way of doing stuff, right? And very often we mistake new with right, right? We mistake new with right. Just because something is new doesn't mean that it's right, okay? And just because everybody is doing something doesn't mean that it's right, okay? You need to assess right or wrong based on, again, the merits of that issue connected to the objective that you're trying to achieve. So I think that's a fantastic initiative, going against the grain and saying, this is how we're going to do stuff. I'm sure you'll also agree, like with all cases, Keshav, when you put people through rigor, they may complain in the interim, but once they're through that process, they will appreciate the process, right? Because in the end, my belief, and I'm sure you'll resonate with that, is that human beings want to learn. They want to build their own skill. They may not like the process of doing it, but after they're through that process, they really appreciate the person that put them through that process. So I'm sure these 25 people, and correct me if I'm wrong, were very appreciative of what you did after the process.
Yeah, I can tell you that from the same batch, 25 people batch.
Yeah.
One girl was like, we are stressed. You are putting a lot of tension to us, this, that. All many people were saying this. Okay.
Yeah.
Once they passed, after I think 4 or 5 months, he called me and said that, sir, thank you for giving this. If you would have not called us and done this, I would have not learned this language at all.
Yeah.
Any training, because on offline training I was sleeping, virtual training is happening, training is done, some assignment, copy from here, there. This is zero tolerance. If you do malpractice in the test, you are asked to go then and there. Period. Either you are helping the friend or you are doing it. And 50% people in a batch I have thrown out. For underperformance. I am very clear. And you told that bad name of the learning and development. I can give you example. I gave one batch to a vendor. That vendor, everybody was rated at A+. Okay. And I took the test. Out of 30 people, 18 people failed. I said that no, I'm not going to give it.
सर मैं आपको बताता हूँ, वेंडर भी बेचारा क्या करेगा, मैं हूं ना पार्टनर, तो मैं आपको बताता हूँ रियलिटी क्या है. If and when we go tough on the people, more often than not, the HR and L&D comes to us and saying, "Arey, what are you doing? You're failing half my people."
Usually.
Right? So then if we want to be business people, in the end, unfortunately for us, we need
to
we need to play to the galleries. We need to play to the person giving us business. But that, again, sometimes our will, we need to go and do stuff like that, which I think the point that you raised is very, very important, of saying that sorry, go on.
I got freedom from the HR. I told HR that, see, I'm not L&D pro. I'm not going to be here to make you happy or anybody help you. I'm going to make the talent. Okay. I got a trainer and I told the trainer, retainer basis, full 1 year I have utilized. I told him, you are going to write your name on the certificate. It is your name. And then you should take a pride that this guy is A+ means A+. And you can remember the name of the guy after the batch is over. The moment I brought in, every trainer become tough. I said that your name is there. And my name will not be there on the certificate, but your name has to be there. And you have to take that, yes, I remember this guy, I have trained him. Right?
Yeah, it's so interesting. I'll share a couple of things with you, right? So, I don't know what I was watching, which said, for every great architect who created a great building, there's also a great client.
Yeah.
Right? And that's so, because typically when you look at any design, a building or a structure or a monument that's been designed, well, you typically think of the architect, right? But it says his client also was equally visionary, right? That gave him the freedom to do what was required to do to create that right structure. And I think that applies in all spheres, of work, right? If your partner puts out good work, that's because there's a visionary client sitting there that says, hey, do the right thing, right? Do the right thing that really helps you meet my end objective. But sometimes that doesn't happen, right? The other thing, Keshav, which you will find very interesting, because it was a whole learning process for me. As a teacher, I didn't realize the importance of assessments, right? Because if you see, the modern narrative is, even in school education, college education, and that same thing goes into executive education as well. The narrative is saying, nahi, you shouldn't test, right? Assessment, and I was, in a way, that played on my mind. And what happened is, then we introduced assessments in a lot of our programs. And just because we were doing an assessment at the end of the program, people started taking the program seriously. If there was no assessment, people didn't take that program seriously. And therefore, I attached that to also school education. I said, listen, And assessment being there is very important for students learning, right? Because a student like me, I was a very bad student in school and college. A student like me would have never touched his books and not got even the little knowledge that I got if there was no test at the end. At least that exam made me learn last minute something, right? Now, of course, we can make assessments a lot more spread, and we can do all those things, whether it's school, college, or executive education, right? But I don't think people realize the importance of assessments is very, very high, and removing them is doing a disservice to the students, not a service to them.
See, I'll tell you, people don't understand. People can take exceptional example. Top 10% of people can learn without assessment, without book, anything. But that doesn't become norm, right? And as a student, as a student, I'm coming to class and study is only my job, right? Then somebody has to verify that you are doing it or not. And if you're doing it or not, it has to be assessment only. You can't go and say that. See, what I get to question people ask that, oh, you 5 questions of yours, somebody answer, you think that he's a A+ guy. This is not the point. Point is, this guy has spent 30 days writing code, preparing mentally, has taken a stress, taken out the internet outside, and then he's writing code, is what he's going through. In your business also, he'll go through the same thing. Right? He has to do some coding in half an hour. He has to do coding in half an hour. And that is the skill he's developing. It's not about assessment. It's not a 5 question. I always tell people who are question assessment, I say that, you know what? You should question this. Best doctor in India comes from NEET exam. And NEET exam takes assessment of the negative marking with 0.25. Right? And you are getting the best doctor. You are believing the doctor from AIMS and other thing. My assessment, the test is at 0.5 negative marks. If best doctor can come with 0.25 negative mark, if my assessment 0.5 negative, how can you say that this guy is not good?
100%. 100%. I think that makes, some of your thoughts are so correct, yet today so unconventional, right? Because these are the things that actually work, and this big disease of thinking that the new is right and what everybody is doing is right is a real disease, and it's a real a lack of independent thinking in some way around stuff, right? Where we are going with the flow and not doing independent thinking, which really pains me so often, right? I have so many questions to ask you, right? But the other one is around just the importance of communication, and in turn in the modern work environment and the global work environment, the importance of English right there. So what I often tell people, and I want your view on that, I say, take pride in your own. I think it's very, very important to take pride and not have some colonial hangover, right, from the past, but also realize that the language of business, you need one language of business, right? Unfortunately, which is a global language, and that's English, right? So however much pride you may take in your local language, also equip yourself with English, because again, that's the language of trade, unfortunately, right? So there's a very nice quote, Keshav, that says, deal with the world not like you would like it, but as the world is, right? And so many people are trying to deal with the world with some the way they'd like it, right? I think that, and on the flip side of that particular argument, don't be embarrassed to talk in your regional language or our regional languages. This is absolutely take pride in doing it. If both people in the room know Hindi, please speak in Hindi, right? If it's just the two of yours.
Swapnil, I'm telling you, Hindi, I was so good in Hindi that I got 0.1 certificate in class 10th. Okay, which is 1,000 mein one guy gets it. That is what I got in Hindi, 83 or 84 marks in 1992. Today also I take pride in my language called Bhojpuri. Whenever I'm alone in my car, I listen only Bhojpuri song. How bad or good it is. That is my pride. But then I don't stop myself to not learn English. In our time, one of the politicians said they don't learn English in UP. And his own son went and did engineering and did masters and right, all those things. So this is stupidity. You have to think his political gain is done, but what you got?
Absolutely. I wouldn't agree with you more. Okay, little bit of time. So what are the Keshav, and like even if you have to take 15 seconds to think of this answer, because I think you're going to add a lot of value here. Let's think of a young person entering the broad tech or tech-enabled industries, right? Just graduating. What are the top 3 skills do you think that person would need to have a successful career, right? And I don't just mean a successful career as a coder, just a successful career. What do you think are the top 3 skills today?
See, skill-wise, I always tell people that if you want to reach higher in the IT industry, programming is what is going to take you. Correct. Right? Any other skill is fine. It will, you can reach the career, but programming is the first skill that is there.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So to achieve programming,
Correct.
the second skill that you have to develop is problem solving and critical thinking. Okay. So programming cannot come without problem solving and critical thinking.
Got it.
These are the 2 skills. Third skill that you have is a passion.
Correct.
Right? If you have problem solving critical skill, IT industry, I've worked with the people who are school dropout, lawyer, architect, musician, teacher, okay, doctor. I've worked with everybody writing very good code. Okay. So this is one industry where your degree doesn't matter. What matters is that can you think, can you, whatever you know, can you apply and solve a critical problem?
Got it.
Okay. Now, complexity of problem can demand different type of learning. Suppose I want to write a code for rocket science. It is not that I can go back and anybody can write it. But if I have to develop a website, right? So it has a spectrum. So anything that requires a core domain knowledge, your knowledge, your degree is important there. You cannot write a large scale cloud solution without knowing the data science and cloud architecture things. So that requires deeper knowledge of computer science. So that will help me. But if I don't know, if I have to program some of the things, then it is not going to be big challenging.
Correct. So I have a follow-up question. I think your 3 points are extremely relevant, and I'm sure this is a question that's been asked to you quite often. Is having the skill of programming still important in the age of AI as it is currently, and AI as you see it going forward, getting better and better?
See, my hypothesis is that programming skill become more and more important going forward. Because see, AI can generate code. But who will review that code? Who is going to optimize that code? I'll just give example, simple example. When we were writing embedded system code on the platform, used to write assembly code. Okay, that is what people used to write, optimize on assembly. Then people say that, okay, we can get C code and compiler can optimize, right? From there, you have got tools which can generate the code for the platform.
It is already there, which is already there. Yeah.
But what happens, the good programmer is needed from the assembly to code generation to optimization to everything. So that is not going to solve the problem. Right? AI can generate, the moment AI is generating better code than you, then fine, something else. But somebody has to program also, get the model up running, that's fine. So I'm saying that programming as a skill is a problem solving skill. Now you go, if somebody says that no, it is not needed tomorrow, problems are not going to come, it is you are living in a full swamp.
I agree. I think I like your take on this thing because although I'm not from a technical background, but just given my research on this thing, I think irrespective of how advanced AI gets in some way, the problem sharing in a way is first going to happen from human to human. Right? Because you're not trying to solve a problem for a machine more often than not, right? You're trying to solve a problem which originates from a human or originates from a business. And that problem that originates from a business and a human needs to go to another human, which then could use the help of a machine in some way to accelerate the entire creation of what needs to be created. But I think that conduit between it will always be somebody that's a problem solver, a programmer in some way, right? And maybe the word for a programmer changes as you go along, right? But I think you're absolutely right in what you're saying. And as a matter of fact, unfortunately, I think a lot of people from engineering background are equipped with problem solving skills because of what they go through by and large in their college. If you ask me, I think all other professions, right, whatever the profession is, it needs to always have a lot of stuff that makes them good at problem solving and critical thinking, which unfortunately it's not, right? And that makes a big difference, right? I don't know, I was watching this talk by somebody, I forget who it was, that was just saying that, it's interesting that, to develop a self-driving car, right, there has been years of effort and embedding of knowledge that has been done in that particular system for the car to be able to operate. He says, human being does that with a few classes, right? He can more or less drive the car with a few classes, and that much of, it's a very weird thing that the machine needs so much to be able to do that, but the human being can do it in a few classes, right? While all these things are important and I think, help, but in the end, the human being always plays a critical part in that entire thing, right? But yeah, the future seems exciting in that particular way.
Yes, and again, AI, I keep telling people that if you are going to have a car, right? Car is going to be self-driven. I can tell you that at least this generation will not able to drive a car with a self-driven thing. This generation, because we are wired. All these advanced car that you have, 3-4 kilometers, you just ask them to run without touching the steering. Though car is driving, the driver is not confident. You will not able to do it, right? So if suppose AI generated code is given in the car, will you drive a car? You will not have the trust. So AI can generate a code, but I need to think through that. Is it functional safety? Is it cybersecurity is taken care? Is it optimized? That I have to do. And if machine has to reach to that level, it is take time. So bulk can be generated, right? But finally, again, you go back to anything. You can create a structure in 2 days with all these things, but fine-tuning that structure takes a lot of time. And that human has to do.
Very interesting. Keshav, yes, we've run out of time, unfortunately. Any final words of wisdom or advice to anybody who's a young professional watching this particular show?
So I always tell young professionals that, you are in the era where you have edge if you are focused, because 90% of people are distracted. Okay. So keep on that edge of focus, keep your mindfulness, you will achieve things, because this is very easy. If I know that in our time, people didn't have distractions, so 90% people are motivated to achieve. Today, everybody has everything. Father is rich, they have achieved, right? Mobile, this, that. So you are already having things, you are having no method of distraction. You just focus and bring that fire in your belly, you'll be able to achieve it. That is what I keep telling people.
Got it. I think that's a fantastic note to end this show on. Keshav, I have to be honest and tell you, this has been one of my best interactions with a person on this particular show. So I've learned so much from my interaction, and I'm sure anybody that's watching this will learn a lot from our end. Of course, we're going to share this. Your end also share this, because I'm sure there's lots of pearls of wisdom for people to take out. Thank you very much, Keshav. I also hope to meet you offline soon.
Sure. We'll meet in Mumbai.
Thank you.
Have a good day.